Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Laura Canfield Show, the Awaken to Happiness Now Global Series. Thank you so much for being here with us. We are in the winter spring season 2020. It still feels weird to say 2020, to be honest, but it's like, yeah. And we took a little bit of a break for a couple of weeks because my daughter was here visiting me. And so I wanted to spend all my time with her. But now she's gone back, sad. And so now we're back to our normal schedule. We'll be doing shows like 3 times a week, right? So I'm excited today. My good friend Audrey Lightlanguage is here with us. And we're gonna be talking, we always talk about a lot of things, but today we're gonna be talking about the importance of your essence and so much more. And I'm gonna let Audrey talk about all that stuff in a minute, but we're also gonna be taking some live Q&A. We're going to be doing, we always do some processes during the calls when Audrey's here with us. And it's always so much fun because the energy is always high vibe. So it's really going to be important for you to have some water handy, just to, drink it from time to time, and be in your body the best you can. Stay out of your head. Don't try to analyze, figure out anything. Just be in your body a little bit, be in your heart space, expand out a bit, and just be present. Be present and be willing to hear something different, to know something different, okay? And so for those of you who don't know Audrey, I'll just tell you a little bit about her. She is a soul architect and an energy engineer. She's been on our show for a long time. So she's a regular. I was trying to say, it's like, wow, it's been a few years. And we're always so happy to have Audrey back with us. She's a powerful creator. She was spontaneously ignited to do the work that she has embodied to do in these times, to do as a coder of the field of creation. And she's going to talk a little bit about that. She's from Time Before Time and the First Wave of Creation as an embodied Elohim. And she brings through works that support the energy changes occurring these times. And as you all know, as we all know, there's a lot of stuff happening right now energetically. It's really intense, but it's a good thing. It's a good thing. And this is about getting you to be more aware of who you are, where you're going, what's going on, what are you choosing, right? What are you focusing on? What are your priorities, etc., etc., etc. So thank you so much for being here and welcome, Audrey.
Thank you so much to be back with you and your beautiful family of listeners. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. I loved sharing with you and all your beautiful listeners. I want to show everyone my shirt that I said I wore especially. See what it says? Shine bright, right? So that's what we're here, right? Assisting everyone to do, right? Shine so bright and brighter and brighter and brighter, right? So thank you so much for the opportunity to share with you again. And thank you.
Always, always. And it's so much fun. And you always bring through a lot of energies, frequencies, vibrations, light language, language of the Akash. And usually, beings of light come through and always have a message for us as well. So it's always so empowering. And so today, I know we were talking about the importance of your essence, right? Specifically, but more than that. So, what's been going on for you since we last spoke? I think last time you were on our show was, I think, maybe back in September, right? So what has changed or shifted since then?
Oh my goodness. For me, it's always the same, because even from the beginning, I was working with energies, let's say, that perhaps were not accessible to some yet, right? Always, paving that way, right? The seeds, so it comes to fruition to help support, so others can also be opening up to work at those higher and higher levels. I know a lot of people talk about the 5D, and that's another thing that I want to talk about, right? You start to hear people mentioning other Ds, right? Because we do not only want to have that limitation of a 5D only. If we're stepping up, into our mastery, right? That is so you can access all the Ds, because there's so many, right? What are Ds? Ds are vibratory expressions of consciousness, platforms for one, right? To experience, right? To play out upon. So they, though, must be in resonance, right? To be able to play upon those higher and higher vibratory fields. So don't limit yourselves to only 5. And also the sacred key code number language, just to remind you to talk about that as well, which is a beautiful addition to the works. So always the same at that level, coming from primordial time, before time and such, supporting the field behind the scenes with all that is going on, right? As you're saying, 2020, clear sight to assist even more so of the dissolving of the filters, right? And stepping more and more into the recall and remembrance of that which they are, and then doing the work behind the scenes with codes out until to existence and creation. So it supports what they are going through, right? Keep us on the higher potentials of timelines, right? Keep that supported. That's what we've come in to do, right? So the agendas that would like to keep us on the lower vibratory timelines, right? And vibrations of expression, and their manipulation to try to keep that going, right? Or have one fall off that higher path of potentiality, right? We don't want that to happen. So thus beautiful works as yourself are doing, and so many out there, right? And myself, to support that we continue on those higher paths, right, of potential, which we say the new, right? That new, closing the old book and writing the new. So always very busy, because just like me, family, friends, children, and then juggling, you know, when spirit comes in, it's like, okay, code, we need codes, right? For the field, whatever's being supported, or a healer to the healer, I'm called. So if a healer calls me and says, hey, I'm doing some work in something, assist with bringing some codes, can you do that? You know, so always a lot of juggling, busy, you know.
Oh, and that's the thing. It's like right now is, you know, I think, you know, because it's still January, a lot of times in January, people are focused on what do I want to create this year? What do I want to do? What do I want to manifest, etc. But it's also about, you know, it's like, do you remember that you are source, right? And coming back to that and letting that be the foundation piece, and then, you know, jumping off that platform and say, yeah, I'm source, and what am I creating as source? What am I, like, what did I come here to express this time around?
That is exactly what I want to talk about, because see how you say this time around is not the same as other embodiments, so to say, other aspects, where the let's say the thing at hand to do was to create, manifest, have different experiences in physicality, in the lower vibratory expressions, right? The duality, polarity play and experiment, you know, that is what we were doing over and over. And as some of you may understand and know, that beautiful technology, so to say, experience was, what do you want to say, hijacked, right? Or infiltrated or whatever, you know, that stuckness occurred where we were never supposed to go through this experience and have forgetting or being stuck in the same loops over and over, right? But that was the experience that was going on, right? Now, this embodiment, right? Ever so more important. Yes, it's important, our experiences, but we have had many experiences. Now, this embodiment is giving everyone the opportunity to cleanse and clear all the old stories, the energy entanglements on the DNA, generation, ancestral, all of this, right? Clean the closet, so to say, of all the old energies and those loops that kept one stuck. So this embodiment, rather than just to say, where's my love? Where am I going to live? Right? Think about what they want to manifest in physical. The more important thing is not to miss the opportunity that this embodiment is unveiling one to, as you were saying, recall, remember, you are God, right? In embodiment, you are source expressing. So you have an opportunity to do the works necessary to raise your vibration again, pour the light back in, right? Your original point of orientation before you entered into the lower vibrations to experience, so that you can do the works necessary for your essence, where your true treasure lies, your soul essence, which is the thing that you are, where you shall find yourself while you're traveling through the rest of creation. Because this is not the same old that was. This is the time of the great divide. Which side shall you find yourself on? Devolution or evolution, right? Evolution means one needs to be in resonance, have an expanded and an awareness, understanding, to be re-educated of what they were a part of, right? Not just the lives and the people and the stories and all of that has gone on, right? But the bigger picture that they are. Their eternal consciousness, right? An unbreakable thing that went to experience duality, polarity, to experience forgetting, or so to say, right? Being like broken, meaning, you know, a God being who will not die, cannot be sad, you know, all of those, to have a fuller understanding of oneself, of what they are not. And when they come out of that, a full picture, right? Through knowing what you are, what you are not. And then to declare and define yourself, color yourself in, manifest yourself, right? Meaning your essence into beingness, from just energy and the sleep or the illusion, right? To truly, right? Be solid, so to say, meaning you have placed yourself in the future point in resonance, right? With the higher vibratory platforms of the new. Because How does people think they're going to be standing in their godhood, a pillar of the new, if they're still doing the same old and have the old energy frequency? They cannot be. So you see what I'm saying? Yes, it is important, our physical life, right? Our children, our families, all of this, right? But as I say, you have to juggle double-handed, 5 balls here, 5 balls here, the physical responsibility to self and others, and then the spiritual, because this is the opportunity to tend to your soul, where your true essence is, right? And where you shall find yourself. And when you do those works, not neglecting the soul, so to say, or your true essence, the wider understanding of what you are, who you are, what you're a part of, then of course that ripples into the physicality, you see? So you are handling both at the same time, rather than just being consumed with just the physical, which in a way is part of the program of the system of a distraction to keep one disempowered. You know, I know that was a mouthful, sorry.
No, and it's all relevant and it's all valid. You know, Scott wrote in, we're only a piece of God. And so, you know, a lot of times people will say that we're not God, we're not expressions or God expressing itself, or we're not expressions of God, or that we're only a piece. And it's, you know, each person has their own viewpoint, perspective on that, you know. So
well, how I answer that is, if you think of the ocean, right? And I say to people, if you and I go to the ocean, take a cup of water, go back to our homes, we'll get on the phone, put a droplet of drops of water on the counter, and I'll say to you, Alara, when I call you up, what is that on your counter? You're going to tell me droplets of water. I'll say, Alara, what is that on your counter? You have to say to me, that's the ocean, right? Because we just bring it from the ocean. It's the same type of thing. We are sparks of divinity. And time to realize that we are the sparks of divinity. Because if you want to call it God, source, the field of consciousness, we would not be having the gift of consciousness and awareness, right? The gift of individuality, besides being a collective and expression of all that is, if it was not for what that gentleman calls God. And people have so many names, right? Like you have behind you and such, right? So that source of creation, if it did not wish to explore itself, make itself known in stating I am, and just that it states I am, thusly comes the question, if I am, what am I? I am all things, and all goes forth, right? So we are part of that, adding to the book of life, right? God expressing itself through everything and everyone, which writes the book of life. So it is made known to another of itself, yes? That is why to say that oneness, or to love and honor another, because you're only harming yourself, which you are part of all that is, the oneness of source creation expressing itself, you know? So these are the new understandings to enter into a wider understanding, right? Than the belief systems that have been set up by a program passed down for generations that just painted reality for one in a R-E-E-L, the real, which is not R-E-A-L, right? Which for our wider expanse and understanding of what is, right? Rather than just what has been passed down, so to say, painted or allowed to be told to the people, right? What did you want to talk about God? Well, then if you want to talk about Christ, we call this the Christ time, the Christ consciousness. What did Christ say? Christ said, don't go. He didn't say go here, there, angels, galactic masters. What did he say? Go within yourself, right? What did Christ say? You shall do even greater things that I have done. So when do the people think the times are of that? These are those times. Christ said, right? You are my brothers and sisters, meaning, right? Christ as a God, a child of God. We are from God, children of God, an essence of God, an expression of God. But there is only one thing, that source expressing through the many. We are writing in the book of life because the desire for that consciousness wishes to have an answer to, or express, or experience. And as I said, be made known to another of itself, than just sit in the void, right, of the pool of nothingness of consciousness. So God's source creation gives us the gift of awareness and to have experiences. So we write in the book of life. We have written in the book the experience of duality and polarity, experiment, right, adventure, whatever you want to call it. But now it is time to close that, because it is birthed forth the parasitic plague of forgetting, yes, and the things that are not self-sustaining systems that had to parasitically live off others to sustain themselves, because they have separated themselves so far in their experience from source, they cannot be sustained from source, so they sustain themselves off the life force of others. And so that problem of parasitic vampirism, which has created that stagnation. Stagnation is a contradiction to life. So thusly, creation, the divine plan, comes to move and move things out of the repetition of the stagnation, right? To move, to vibrate higher, right? For us to wake up from the dream. Source says to me, tell them, right? come and dance with me to the new note, right? Dream lucidly, which means empowered within the dream to know that you are dreaming, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the bigger picture of what you are, like the beings of light say, you are the master and the masterpieces, one and the same. So it is to hold those paintbrushes and create from a place of recall and remembrance what you are, rather than all that we have created from forgetting. You see? So
Absolutely. Beautiful. I love it. I was just gonna, it's like whenever you come on the show, it's like, you know, you and I are both on the same page. It's like absolutely. And it's everything that you say is exactly what I say, but you just say it in such a better way than I say it. It's like I just love it. So, I wanted you to share really quickly um, with everybody as well. So, if this is the time of us, focusing on our self as source, creator, God, whatever name you want to choose, how can we more fully do that? Because most people who are on this call, they get that, they understand that, they've been, on this path for a while, and so they're getting that they're creators and they're creating their life and they're creating their experiences and everything. And so what can we all now do differently to be in that remembrance at the same time as live? I always find that balance, right, of living in this life and at the same time being centered in my being, in the essence of who I am, which is source, right? And I'm not sure if there's like, yeah, there's that juggling, there's that balancing, but there's also a little bit of a separation still. There's a gap between truly being, right, that, and expressing, and sometimes being, and other times just living life, etc.
right. Well, this is a new thing, right? That we're just beginning in this lifetime's embodiment to begin to step back into that, right? To
Mm-hmm.
begin to change the awareness that was before, right? Understand that we're eternal beings, right? What we're going to do, sit for eternity in the field of nothingness, right? What fun is that? So the technology, so to say, the gift of creation, to have this technology of a body or a platform for the body and the consciousness to have experiences through, right? So it adds to the depth of one's knowing, not only holding it in a concept, but the experiential knowledge, right? Of the taste, the touch, the smell. So
Mm-hmm.
of course the juggling act, right? To realize and know you are this wider beingness, an eternal beingness, right? Who's wearing a space suit, so to say, an experience suit of a body upon a platform to play out upon. So the thing is, though, to gain mastery while you are walking through all the experiences, right? I talk about the dock, which is moving. We're going to stand on the dock.
Mm-hmm.
The dock is the energy tossing and turning us. We're trying to balance while it's moving all over the place. Not only are we tempted to balance, we're juggling at the same time. Again, those 5 balls, one hand representing the physical responsibility to self and others, and then the other hand, spiritual. There's so much more. So it's a juggling act and a balancing act, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we stand in our power. Sometimes we feel an emotion. That's what you're talking about, being immersed in the regular world, so to say, right? An emotion, a situation that attempts to move us, or if they cannot move us off the dock, to the others around us, right? To pull us off that dock into the emotions, the water, the energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we, and it's good because we want to feel, but the difference is then do not just be washed away in that emotion and energy down the waterfall in a rapid, so to say, tossing and tangling yourself in the energy, because there are things, say to say, in the energy that is going to eat off of those lower energies that you are emitting, right? That sustains themselves, keeps
Yeah.
you tossed and tangled in the same loops, so they can keep you stuck in that, right? To maintain themselves off of your light. So we don't want to do that anymore. We want to, the steps we take in our beingness to realize the bigger picture of what we are. And I tell my clients, it's like, think of a stage show. And you know how the people in the audience are so wrapped in the emotion, or the even performer could get so wrapped up that the character becomes who they are,
Mm-hmm.
right? Our physical beingness in stories is not the totality, right? That does not define who we are. They're experiences we're having. How you act and react in those experiences is the thing that defines your essence, which is so important, which is your soul vibration of your energy, your beingness, where you shall be found. So I tell them, why don't you think of it as a Broadway show, right? Instead of just being so immersed as the characters, the actors on the stage with the emotions and the drama and such, separate yourself from that a bit and look at it from backstage, right? Like behind the curtains. So from behind the curtains, there's that wider view, right? You're watching the situation, what's playing out, what's a part of, but you have the empowerment to look at it so you're not taken down so much by the story, the drama, the energy, the stage show, right?
Yeah.
So you look at it from here. So that is where you can maintain balance when you look at it from the wider picture and say, I'm not going to have that emotion or story take me down or define me or just keep me tossing and turning, right? Because I am steering my vessel, my ship, right, to a better shore, to a better place than one that's so rocky in emotions and such. So it is a balancing act, a new way to be. Because remember, we are still held within this system and platform that does not support this newer way of understanding, of being re-educated, bigger awareness of what is happening. We are still within a platform that is playing the old beliefs or paradigms or keeping people stuck as sheep or cattle or disempowering them, right? You don't have everybody everywhere all over the world being taught and re-educated empowerment, right? And their truth of their beingness as eternal beings, you know, and what has gone on and they're a part of. So these types of things that go on are so important because we are the means to re-educate them of what is true and real, because there is also a false awakening going on where people are zipped in reality bubbles of all as well, you know, which they don't understand. That is yet another huge distraction of the system to keep them deluded and manipulated and distracted, right? Any being that you work with must be assisting you to understand your empowerment. There is no other to continue to hold greater than yourself, right? Angels, beautiful beings. Angels are to service, right? We're creation, playing that part to service the other portions of creation, us, right? Who we're playing in forgetting. Masters to hold the remembrance, right? But if you truly love your angels and your masters, galactics and such, why do you want to keep them always in service to you? You understand? We have played that for eons and eons of time. Yes, they are there to support you, but my message from them is to you to say, throw away the crutches and training wheels and know where they're supporting you, but we're going to step back a little so it gives you the opportunity rather than always say, angels, masters, galactics, everyone else. How are you learning to stand in your godhood, right? In the time of the godhood, there are not all these other beings expressing different masks that creation wears to call on, because you're to be standing in your divine godhood where you no longer need an intermediary because you're in remembrance and you can have direct connection with source. Do you know how many of my clients have said, oh my goodness, the angels are there supporting masters, everyone, but here, right? Step back. Not only them disempowering themselves all the time, giving the energy over to them to be the forces that move them. You see, how are they standing in their godhood, their creator beingness, if they continue to do that? But when you receive these works, they're there, they support you, but you now have direct connection to source, which you emanate from, right? So you do not need an intermediary like in the time of forgetting. So there is so much to change people's understandings, their perspective, when you shatter the filter and the old beliefs and paradigms which need to go, right? So that they could get even beyond the chakras, that all the chakras turn on. So you become a pillar of light, the male and female energy balance within you. Not this just, oh, the goddess, because even men are goddesses. We are female in this expression, but we are also men in our other expressions simultaneously, because this is not past lives, because there's no time. It's all happening in one time. It's other aspects of you. So through my works, it helps balance the male and female energy. And this embody ripples out to your other embodiments, whether female or male, right? So you have the marriage of the bride and the bridegroom of those energies and go beyond the chakras, which chakras are sometimes energies that hold people, right? When you talk about where there's blockages, what's going on. So you get out of that old story, you become the pillar of light, they all turn on, and you stand as a pillar of the new in your godhood. And there again was where your essence comes in, because your essence is the thing that is going to tell, right, where you find yourself vibratorily and also conscious. Your consciousness must be expanded to have the new education, re-education of what is going on, right, and what we are and are a part of, so we can take part of that. You know, we are that hope which brings a thing that is only a potential into the fruition of actuality of what it is. You know, if people could even understand this, I'm here to expand you, you know. So this is about, in a way, if you can understand there's only one time in the eternal now moment. You know how they always say, we've done it, it's done already, you know. It means there's only one time. So that future point is already there, so to say, right? But the importance is for one to find themselves there in resonance, they must do the works now, thusly for their essence, their soul, right? so that they can be found there. Like they're declaring themselves, defining themselves, coloring themselves in, manifesting themselves, right? For a new birth, a new embodiment, right? Transformation, resurrection, transformation. So they can find themselves there rather than those forces that want to close those potentialities, right? And make the lower vibrations and situations happen. You know, if you could understand, we are right now experiencing and witnessing our past. You understand? The future point played out already, and it didn't play out well with AI and transhuman and all that other stuff, right? So as I'm called a time traveler and others, right? To jump timelines. You cannot change the future from the future there. You come to that future's past, like we are here now, making changes and alterations, right? So you can get in resonance, and we have made a new future point, which deems that old future point that didn't play out well as old now, right? So we have a new future point if people, souls, will get in resonance to be able to continue to have themselves found there. So thusly their essence, a wider understanding of things. So again, any being who is coming to you or you're dealing with, you want to deal with the highest that is empowering you. There's no being that is greater than you, because this is the time for you to recall, to stand in your divine birthright and sovereignty, right? There is no other greater than you, because you are a spark of divinity, a spark of God. Otherwise you would not be, you know, whatever name you want to call it, you know.
Absolutely.
I'm getting so hot because the energy is flowing through when I'm speaking to everyone. So I just had to turn the ceiling fan on because I'm like, woo!
Awesome. Good. And that's the thing I wanted to share. I'm glad you mentioned that, as you are speaking, you are transmitting energies, frequencies, and vibrations. And some of you may be tapping into that, which is awesome. So drink some water as well. So is there some tool process that you can share with our audience today, Audrey, that can help them to tap into their essence more?
Yes, it's not even something they have to tap into. It's for them to tend it, because they have that already, right? They have their soul, their eternal life and such, right? But it's to tend it. If they don't tend it like a garden, right? What are they growing? Gardens of dead things, right? That are parasitic and need to feed off others, or that others are keeping them stuck over and over, feeding off them and controlling them? Or are they making beautiful gardens that feed and nourish themselves and others, right? By that shall they be known, you know? Are they wheat or chaff, right? Wheat is the golden ones, the shiny, triumphant golden ones that we go down to our predecessors, which are us, right? In the end, as the shiny, triumphant golden ones, as one as my message says, right? Because we wrote it in the book of life, the forgetting, you know? Now it is time to close that and to remember what we are. So they are that already. So it's so important to take part in things that are going to empower them and re-educate them so they can tend to the garden, so to say, of their essence, their soul, right? To bring it forth. Does not matter if they do not, and I know I speak quick, understand every concept, because my work that I do is reaching to their unconscious, their subconscious, you understand, to assist them, you know, with these works. So awareness is so important, shattering the old filters, the old beliefs and paradigms. So whatever they could partake of that assists in doing that, because unfortunately there are many out there that are yet still, whether wittingly or unwittingly, perpetuating the same, you understand, by supporting yet that same belief systems, you know? So that is not going to get them to the new, which is very important, because the other system is going to be closed out. People think it's going to continue. That would be continuing stagnation. And that's a contradiction to life. Life is motion and movement, which means energy, right? To move, to come in and play a new note, a new experience, you know? My works, offering the light language, the language of the Akash. Again, I do not read Akash, because the Akash would be as if you're going into old library, you understand, with old paths of potential or recipes or directions that were available from that point, right? So we want to be in resonance with the new, right? So I rewrite the Akash, so to say, for them through the light language and the number codes. The numbers are the language of creation. Think about numbers. Numbers build everything, right? The sacred, you know, building blocks of all that is, right? Based on numbers. That's the language of creation. So when I bring through numbers and codes, I'm called a weaver of codes of creation, right? So as a weaver, one of my beautiful clients, she said to me, when she had a few sessions, she was like, oh my goodness. She goes, it's like you throw a piece of material upon someone like a tailor, and you're layering it with lace and lace and lace. That's each, as you know, allow yourself receiving the numbers, right? So putting lace and lace and lace on that garment. And then as a good tailor, eventually you like put the darting, right? And it fits them perfectly. These are the works, right? The light language, the Akash language, the words in English that I speak, and also the number language, which assists them to have a new vestment, so to say, which is what? The gossamer strings of nothingness, which is energy, which makes up all things, right? To help support them. And that is, right, building their vibratory body, so to say, their vessel to express through upon a higher resonance field. Because if they're not in resonance with the new platform, just think of your technology and your telephones, you know, your laptops. You couldn't take an old system and play it on this. You cannot. It's the same thing, right? We're eternal consciousness in this body, right, having experiences, but it's going to be an upgrade of the whole system and of the vessel, right? Because we could live for years and years and years and not be sick, right? The DNA was altered to have that experience, right? And to disempower people. So this is all moving into a new expression that humanity can express through. So can I bring in some light language, which to me, as I know, is the most powerful, because there's many people speak light language and bless them. But remember, I'm coming through bringing Elohim embodiment from first wave of creation, primordial state, right? The works that I do behind the scenes as an architect to build things, to change things, support creation as it is doing so. So it's a little bit different, you know, when you go in from where I am. I do not have to travel to a sacred place or anything like that, because it's spirit, it says, where you stand, meaning also all of you, you make it a holy ground. You see, that whole belief system, you had to travel somewhere, you had to go somewhere, right? I also do not bring in to say you're going to be working with creator beings. Why am I going to say that to you when I'm helping you to understand you are a creator being? Why do you want to be disempowered yet playing in the old belief system? So since these energies are the work that comes through to assist creation, how powerful is that when they could affect you, right, in your own personal field, who comes to drink from the wellspring that I bring through in all of these works. So can I give everyone a little bit of an example?
Yes, please. Yes,
All right,
absolutely.
beautiful. All you have to do is relax. So that's the beauty. Here we go. Oh, I just want to mention, whoever may not be familiar with me, I know I see a lot of beautiful names here that I'm familiar with and familiar with me, but if the high pitch comes through, that would be fairy, elemental, right? Part of all that is coming through to assist the inner child in the heart, right? Because a lot of these things that we're releasing, old habits, right, are hard to break, or things that we've held as our dearly beloved and divine understandings we thought, right? This is an expansion of that, to let go of it a little bit. So that hurts sometimes, or is upsetting, right? To move, to change. So they come in to help assist one to ease into that a little bit more gently, right? Or the ancient ones, deep sounds, will come in to support the generational ancestral lineage, right? Or the Native Americans as well. And clicking sounds is me accessing your multidimensional beingness, which be your cosmic, so to say, aspects and self. So here we go, beautifuls. Here we go. Beruntona viane vano sano zenaze zenaze semeshe shemasha shomashi shaisha bahun ehirata kone partushk eti atai bahone yanasa bieto seve Kurat there is for some of those concepts, right? We're moving into new ideas and concepts, expanding them, so the fairies come support them with that. Kasha kia, kasha kasha. We're gonna rewrite that. Kasha kasha mia, kasha kasha. Uda say galactic. Simeshe, shimeshe, simeshe, shimeshe. Native Americans. Amazon. Anuseo, ananeo, ananeo, ananeo. Ancient ones. Huma konto around the belly button for generational ancestral releasing to begin some of this for you. Hune hia honda kando sume kundo suhundai. Humakite, humakite. Hasha hasha honde kumahisa hundai. Amahuna, inahona, mahuna. It's mon cher, pelon, pelon.
Awesome. Thank you. Oh my goodness. I was like trying to keep myself from not yawning too much. Because you know how I tend to yawn and get tired. It's like I was like, keep it together. That
Oh
was
my goodness.
yeah, but that was awesome. I loved, you know, when it was just, you know, when the fairies came in, and then right after that the Native Americans came in.
The ancient ones.
Yep, that was, I found for me that really resonated, and I needed that. So
People will
thank you.
think, this life, you're so welcome. This life, think about your generational lineages, right? How much stories, how much energetics tangled up, right? Then you multiply as a soul your lives, which we say past lives, but it's actually other aspects simultaneously happening with stories and generational lineages upon the DNA, right? And then your cosmic multidimensional aspects and families and stories, right? And we've been doing it looping over and over and over again, right? Before this time to have this opportunity. So people will say, well, when is it done? Well, imagine, if you can imagine how much that is DNA, like technology that holds all that information, and then it was altered, right? So we're just let go of that old energy. We're upgrading what was altered, and then even upgrading even more as far as we could take them, right? So they are then in resonance with their original points of orientation before they even entered into the duality polarity, right? Dualistic experience. So lessening their light, so to say, to be able to even have such an experience as this, right? So we come pouring the light back in, raising the energy and the vibrations. No longer people speak about my higher self out there. No, that was before in the old way. This is about you get the stuff out of the way, the lower energy, so you and the higher self are blended, one and the same. You walk it in your beingness, no longer separation with it out there. You and it, one and the same, because why? You were walking in your embodiment, right? And in your godhood when you do the works to assist you to get there, which is true empowerment, right? Freedom, being sovereign, than to yet bow to another being, whether angel, master, galactic, that you continue to hold as greater than you, when it is all only source, God, playing all those characters, you understand, all those personas, all the beingness of the holy ones is what? Creation expressing through them, wearing the mask of them, right? That storyline, right? To play with itself, to dance with itself, to interact with itself, so them to have a wider understanding of that and walk it more and more in their life while they're juggling the balls of the physical and not allowing those things in this system that want to take one down and continue to hold them, right? So that they can feed off of them or keep them as sheeple or be dumbed down. Speaking of dumbed down, language and symbols have been contaminated, right? But the number language comes in that I speak because it is beyond contamination, because it can hold the highest light frequency and quotient beyond contamination. And so thusly I speak the number language, and we're going to talk about that a little bit, but I'll let you go on.
And that's the thing, it's like, when you are doing the light language, for example, what's important is just, and you do this on like in the personal sessions as well, it's just important to just let go. Just don't even think or analyze, say, I'm going to release this. No, just let go of, and whatever is going to be released is going to be released. It's a different type of process than when we are personally, I'm clearing this, I'm clearing that. But when you're doing the light language, it works in a different way, right?
The
or
light
language of the Akash, sorry.
Beautiful. The light language of the Akash, the number language is beautiful because sometimes people say, I'm going to make this, what is it? Like a resolute decision, a statement, right? Of what they want to have done or happen. But truly, I will say to all of you, how can you think you're going to possibly know everything when you know this life, right? But what about what's in the unconscious, subconscious? You do not know what to ask, right? That could be bleeding through into this life or a generational tie from another aspect of you that is causing a problem. So my work is that you show up, you get out of your mind, which is a labyrinth. You're always hitting the walls to think you know everything or what to ask for, what the issue is. And you just have to relax and you show up and you receive, right? Because I had one of my other clients who was this here. She's like, oh my God, you're moving thousands and thousands and thousands of lives, right? At one time to do this work. So it's even beyond what one could even think to ask to manifest or to bring forth or to handle. And that is the beauty of the work, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so I just wanted to talk a little bit, I'm just going to say, Susanna was saying, thank you with that shirt and all. You're like a rock star singing light language.
Yes, shine bright. There we go.
I have to get one of those in white because, you know, but
Yeah.
I have to get one of those.
This happened to be like, I saw it in a book or something. I'm like, oh, that's so nice. And I went to a store and there was one left. And I was like, oh my God. So I know Spirit wanted me to wear the shirt, shine bright, because it was one less left and it wasn't a teeny tiny little one. So it was one that was meant for me so I could wear it for all of you, because that's what we're doing, right?
Yes,
Help
absolutely. Yeah, exactly.
Bright.
We're all, you know, shining more and more brightly this year, I'm finding, you know, and I find that for this year, and I've been saying this for the past few years, but it really is about, you know, getting out of your own way and just shining and doing your thing, whatever that means, just being, right? Without judgment. I still find that in some places, you know, I'm still holding back, you know, I'm still like, yeah, what are people going to say? What are people going to think? Blah, 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 blah.
Right. Blah, 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 blah. Exactly is what it is. Exactly.
And then when I catch it though, then it's like, oh yeah, okay, no, you know, but there are still lots of other things that are going on behind the scenes that I don't always catch, right? So it is about us consciously choosing to step up and shine, to be ourselves without apology, without, you know, fear of rejection or anything like that. That's, you know, who cares? And just be ourselves and enjoy, because it's still about enjoying life. My husband was saying something today about sugar, you know, and because I was making my tea and I was putting the honey in my tea, and he's like, oh my God, that's how much honey you put in your tea? And it's like, yeah. I said, I put less in yours, but I said, if it doesn't taste good, I'm not going to drink it. What's the point? So part of me is like, I like to enjoy a little bit of sweetness in my life. You know, I'm not going to like overpower it, but I want to be able to enjoy life, you know? So it's not just, you know, there are some things I enjoy. And one of those is sugar or sweetness in my tea, not sugar, but honey in my tea.
And that is what we have come in to do, right? To partake of things. When we're in the consciousness field of the nothingness, so to say, right? Or another aspect or something, there may not even be beautiful things like that to partake of. You know what I mean? The thing is not to go crazy with it or overboard with something. You know what I mean? Yeah. And of course, it's all about joy. That is the thing. Come and have these experiences that'll bring you joy instead of the same old being beaten down and sick and upset and angry and hurt. You know, all of those things that are really just loops and ties that will feed those energy that comes off of you or the forces. So no, it is to truly be conscious and to be aware, you know. And as you're saying, yes, do what you want, but again, it must be like the golden rule, so to say, which to me, even as Audrey, I was always like, what's the problem? It's so easy, right? Sensibility, do unto others as you would like done to yourself. What is so difficult about that, right? If one would just be conscious and think about that when you're doing your things you're enjoying, to make sure that they harm no other, because that has been the issue in this experiment of forgetting. It has been no hold bars. In love, go forth and do whatever you want to do, right? Thusly is how we've gotten to this situation, right? Of those things that have played in the lower vibrations, right? And infringing upon others' great life, right? Experience that they could have, which is keeping them stuck in the stagnation of life upon life. They may say, go do your lessons, you haven't done good enough. It's another lie, I say to you, you see? Another manipulation, right? Because then you go like a good little being, right? Integritous, you go do your lessons again, right? Which again, the lie. It is not lessons, right? Those are traps to keep you doing the same thing over and over again. That if you could remember you've done that over and over again, you would pause and say, wait a minute, I've done this already, right? Heartache or despair, all those terrible things, right? So now it's about to have consciousness, understand of what has come from this experiment, birth forth, that has creation coming in to move the divine plan, so that is not perpetuated any longer, right? So one can get out of that, truly be free, not be infringed upon, right, by those forces that want to keep one dumbed down, disempowered, right, lost and distracted in a multiple of manipulations, right? So this is about getting out of that, so that one could be aware, truly aware, not the ones that they paint for you for the REEL, but really aware of what is going on, what have you been a part of, what has been happening, what can I partake of, right? Part of it is the joyful experience of being in an embodiment, right? We are here to have experiences, not lessons. And through experiences, it's always a positive, right? Because you take something away, not like a lesson that you are going to fail. You see the difference in the energy in that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Eternal beings, right? To have an experience in an embodiment, upon a platform, so we can add to our knowing of our own self, right? Declare and define who and what we are. Look at ourselves and say, no, I am not that lower vibration any longer. I wrote that in the book of life. So you creation knows what you are when you are in a lower vibration, right? But now, no more. That is the thing. We have to become aware, because you don't have to know everything that goes on under the carpet, so to say. The wool has been pulled over your eyes and all of this, right? The abominations and atrocities go on. But to know that such a thing is, and be able to say no more, right? It has to be that you say no more, because if you do not say no more, then you are agreeing in the perpetuation of yet that, which is going to be the way, right, of stagnation and a system that is going to be closed out. You do not want to be part of that, right? You don't want to be your hands colored in that way, right? By in a reality bubble that all is well when it is not, you know? So this is to have awareness, say no more. So by that no more, right, you are standing in your power and assisting yourself and creation, right, to support that new, which is your original point of orientation, but even expanded from that point, because we have the knowing, right, of walking through the forgetting that we did and writing that in the book of life, right? And we say, wait a minute, we're not that. This is what we are. And let's go build something. And this is what we are, standing in our godhood, right? Mm-hmm. Compassion, kindness, empathy, beautiful experiences to be had. I don't get it, you know? Someone said a story years ago when I first became Audrey Lightlanguage, and they were saying, oh, you know, creation was bored. It got bored. That's why they had to play in the duality, polarity, distortion experience, right? Because everything was wonderful and they got bored. And I'm thinking, so you make depravity, right? Narcissism, right? Psychosis, all those things that go on infringing upon another. Okay, it was a reason for it, right? So we know what is, right? Say what lurks there within the body of creation and lower vibration. But we've done it. And we have done it over and over and over and over again, that it infringes, right? That souls become shattered, post-traumatic stress. There should never be such a thing, right? So for me, it's really, you're bored with the gift of individuality and experience and expression to taste, touch, and feel things. Well, if you're bored with that, then your gift of individualization and consciousness and expression should be no more, right? Be absorbed back to the old that is, because you continually infringe and keep the stagnation going, which is not going to be. So you see, they cannot find or fit in the new vibratory fields, which is one, being able to truly travel through the body of creation, not just humanity and Gaia, and not have some force that is going to capture them or lie to them or eat them or manipulate them. You understand? So it is very important, these works that we are doing, right, to gather as many as we can who can stand in their godhood and be found upon the great divide of the path of evolution and the motion and movement forward of love, than the story of love that was able to do anything that it wanted, right? Because we see the fallout of that now, right? So we are going to close that system and build this new one. And that's why I'm trying to say to you all, yes, you want to listen and be concerned with what you're doing in physicality, but this is ever so even more important, right, than that, because you're going to be out of physicality in but a moment, so to say. And where are you going to find yourself, right? You want to be found on the path that is continuing in resonance with the new, not the old that has been deemed by creation as a stagnant system and has nothing more to give it, you know?
So for those of us who, you know, are living in physicality, like we all are, and, you know, our biggest focus is not about being our godhood, but is about living, you know, living pain-free, living you know, with abundance, you know, just enjoying life, experiencing life, you know, from a place of, you know, not just getting by, not just, you know, constantly being what's the word it's coming to me, is like being attacked and so on, you know, by people, what are they attacked things, etc. Right?
They're attacked by a system that is parasitic and vampiric, that is keeping them stuck in those lower experiences, right? Of I need money, I don't have money, right? I'm sick, I'm this, I'm that, right? Again, when our DNA was not altered, you do not get sick, you live eternally, right? There is abundance out there already, free energy. We travel through space, right? These experiences we're having is a system that is painting for us that this is the world and our experiences. It is a false one that is painted. There are those that are in control that know the true reality, right? Traveling through space, You don't age, you don't get sick, you have money, you know what I mean? They're a select few that control the system, that are perpetuating for themselves that, and keeping a big cavern between and every one of us, right, who are going around in the same old life upon life of worry and despair and, you know, don't have enough, right? So you see the story? So that it's
Yeah.
time that in this life, we're going to juggle whatever's going on, but to say no more. So we're not, again, in finding ourselves in such a situation over and over again. Remember what I said, the future that played out that didn't play out well,
Yeah.
transhuman AI and all of the rest, right? So we don't want to have that. So this is why it's important. Juggle what you need to juggle in physicality. You do these works, it'll ripple in to your physical life, right? Because you're in a different energy. So you can't go through that same thing, and those things keep you captured. I have sometimes clients when they begin, they move out of that energy, and the old parasites that may be in them, or parasitic forces, or disincarnate ones that want to control them, right, are trying to move them through their emotions or situations to get them stuck in another dramatic situation, you know, or keep them sick and not well. But they now have awareness, so they can capture that, put a hold to that, and not have the same action reaction, right, or belief system, because they've been expanded now, and they begin to step on a different path, a different timeline, right? I say starve them, meaning those other forces, right, that want to feed off you. So you're being aware, you're witnessing, you're observing yourself, your action reaction, right? Because that is what you're made known by. And if you're no longer going to be able to have them hold you and stuck, right, you can get on a different timeline, so you could have different experiences. But again, it's not just going to happen if you do nothing, right?
Yeah.
You have to do something to be in a different resonance so you could have different experiences. And yes, the system will try to keep you down. The system doesn't like when bright lights come on, right? Trying to take it down. So this is why important for community support, continued work for one to do, so they can stay out of that old story and system. Yeah. It takes work. It takes one to be vested, right? Every minute of their beingness, so they can begin to have a different experience, you know? And the experience is what? The energy that is changed. So then you have a different experience when you change the energy. Everything is energy. There's nothing else than energy.
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely. So is there something that we can do to raise our vibration, change our vibration on a daily basis?
On a daily basis, have that awareness. Like I said, try to witness the stage show from behind the curtain. So you're witnessing yourself. You're not just in the story, right? Oh, my heartache. Oh, my love. Oh, my kids. Oh, I'm sick. I don't have money, right? The story, right? That you are in, having the experience of, feeding your energy to where? To me, that's feeding the other forces. You want to feed and nourish yourself, right? To feed and nourish yourself is to begin to be aware, witness yourself, what's happening, going on, so you can disengage, say, the drama of that energy, the story that keeps you captured and in it. Right? So that is a way to look at it, where you step aside from that a little bit. Yes, you're in it, but you don't have to have that take you down. Keep those tendrils of the other ones that want to feed off of you all tangled about you. You understand? So you watch, witness yourself, so you can begin to change your energy and your perspective, right? Yeah. So to me, that is the way that each person in their own lives, right? Because they can't speak light language or rewrite it in Kosh. They can't, do certain things. And also, not always the old habits, right? Masters, angels, galactic, somebody help me, tell me, right? Give me a fortune, tell me whatever. Oh, seer, you understand? That is part of the old, right? The angels, galactic myths, again, want you to throw away the crutches and training wheels, so you can begin. Know they're supporting you, but you can begin to stand in this new way, empowered. And then if you love them, they could also have a different experience. Do you think they just want to service you through all of eternity? No, they would like to have a different experience as well, right? Which is creation expressing in that ways and means, that is, you understand, to you begin to be empowered. Take some steps, the littlest things that you could do. You can easily try to change your perspective, your energy, right? Drink from the wellspring, which is knowledge, knowing, energy, what you can access. These works are very, very powerful. They change people's lives around the world that I'm bringing through, And again, not just in this life, yes, this life, but rippling out to a bigger picture of you, a fuller picture of who you are, because your name and your story of your life is just one little portion of what you are. Don't be lost in that you don't tend to a bigger picture of things, right? You die, you do what? Your energy is the same. You're going to be stuck back in heartache, torture, sadness, despair, all those things that you've been searching for joy moments wherever you can, right? Again, as a sheeple, you don't want to do that. You want to stand in your godhood, because you tended to your essence, your soul, so you can be in resonance to have different experiences, right? When you're embodied. So you match that platform, like new technology have
Yeah.
to match each other. So it's very important for those who can get it. It's not just about tell me what the angels say or the masters and galactics say, right? It's
Yeah.
about you moving, because where are they when you're out of embodiment, right? They're doing all their things they're doing. And what did you do? You're searching for them. Tell me, tell me, tell me. How did you become empowered? You see, you miss the opportunity that this particular embodiment, that is different embodiment, is availing you to have access to. So you're not hearing me speak on live or in a replay by coincidence, because there is no coincidence. This is an opportunity as a soul architect for your soul to be ringing true to you, like, yes, yes, partake of this, right? So we can have, right, something different, you know?
Absolutely. And that's what it's about. It's about choosing something different, creating something different, expressing yourself in a different way than before. That's what you want to do in, moving forward this year, is something different than before. Because what's the point of having the same old habits repeat over and over again? You're just going to create the same thing that you created before. And that's not working for you, to be honest.
And this is 2020, right? Like, see clearly, not
Yeah.
all this, right? Remember, beliefs and paradigms that were built to hold you in the real, REEL, of the controllers and their system and what they wanted to do, dumbing you down, keeping you in forgetfulness. Remember, it was a system that was devised for eternal beings to go into, to have different experiences, right? What else we're going to do through all of eternity? And see how you're saying joy, taste, smell, experience, eternal beings doing that, but to retain that knowing and knowledge, to see what we are not, and define what we are from that knowing and fuller, bigger picture, not a system that has, like I said, birth forth from it, parasitic plague and vampirism system that has affected the system to control it and keep it down, right? That was not the point of it originally. That is what happened through it. Like, you do an experiment and sometimes things go awry or things happen, right? So you have a knowing of that. What happens when you do not keep your hands on the helm of your ship, your vessel, your consciousness, and entered sleep and forgetting? This is what happens. Well, are you defining yourself as that? Right, which is being closed out, lower vibration is you in expressions? Or you can understand the fuller picture you are, raise up to the higher vibrations of expressions, which you are, right? Your original point before you entered this, you just forgot. And now you're going to come out of that, have that, and even a wider expanse of knowing, because now we have this knowledge, right, of what happened within the forgetting and the sleep experiment, So you see, people, this is much bigger than just tell me this, tell me that, oracle all my life, this, that, and the other thing. Are you gaining some knowledge, whether you understand or not, in your conscious self? It is going to seep, this work is seeping into your unconscious, your subconscious, so that can be rippling through in your soul, you, beyond your mind, you, and your persona, you. It's like, yes, 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 because your soul is being fed right now through this conversation and the energy, whether you're aware or not, and it's like, yes, a breath of fresh air for your soul.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, we definitely need that. Definitely.
Yeah, it's the truth of it and you, beyond the story of you that you happen to be sleeping or lost in,
Yes, absolutely, the truth. And that's the thing, sometimes we forget what the truth is. We just get carried away by the drama and trauma, the stories, everything that's going on. We forget the truth of who we really are. So I wanted to, we're going to take some live caller questions in just a minute, but I wanted to just to share with everybody the packages that you have available for us this time around. So for those of you who are on the live page, you can just click on special offer. Those of you who are not, you can go to alara.at/show/Audrey1. And so Audrey, can you just take a moment and talk about, there's 3 packages, package A, B, and C, a little bit about them, right? So package A, the 60-minute personal session with you. You want to talk about that for a second?
Yes, the 60-minute session is going to be of light language and the Akash language. And again, the Akash, to rewrite the Akash, right? Within that session. And then the beings of light will come in, the ancient ones, the fairies, all of this, which is in support of you, right? It's me as those ancient beingnesses, right? Elohim, creation, beingness, the divine coming through, right? All these names, which is really source, creation, right? Coming through to assist you that you are a part of in that session. So personally with me, you ask questions, whatever you want to do in that time frame, right? Now, the second package is extended to that 90 minutes, which that extra time. So if you take the second package, it's giving you what the first package has with that additional amount of time, bringing it to 90 minutes total. So you can receive what we're going to talk about in a little bit. We touched on it a little bit, the sacred key code number, right? Language, which are numbers, codes, 100 long list of numbers. And so that you're going to write, you're receiving the work, but then also you're going to come away with this tool of these numbers that you're going to be able to read over and apply in your life in any way, right? Because it's energy, right? Whatever you want to help build, right? Support you with that. If something is bothering you and you need fortification against that, help that to be dispersed and dispelled, you would think of that, right? Or if you have nothing to think of, you just put those energies out with the numbers. So it's going to support you in your field come what may, right? Because we don't know what happens from moment to moment. And people have been seeing such a transformation in their lives because they're receiving the work while they're writing it, working with their neural networking in their field and the DNA and all of this, right? But then beyond that, this wonderful tool that they're applying in their lives when they're using the numbers and reading them over, even keeping under their pillow or keeping on their person. I've shared sometime an empath that felt attacked, right? In Japan, so many people live there, and she would keep the numbers on her person. So she felt, oh my God, I was in like a protective bubble, right? So she wasn't attacked, you know? People who received the work felt like a parasitic plague or such has fallen out of them, even some woman who was a seer, right? Because it could no longer live in the high vibration that she was being immersed in from the work. So it's very important on a multiple of levels. And then the last
and I just want to say really quickly, so these numbers are not just like 10 numbers, these are pages of numbers. Like you're writing, you know, a lot of, you know, that you're writing these numbers down and they're like pages of numbers, like full pages of numbers. Okay, so it's not just like 10 numbers. No,
because it's a code. Exactly. This is not, I got from Michael 4-6 numbers with a color. No, that is a code that can be broken, right? So this is a code from source creation, the language of creation, that is, you know, 100 long, maybe 50, 60, whatever it may be that you're receiving at the time. So we say hundreds long so they can be prepared, right? Because it's like you're writing a letter, page to page, side to side of the page, side to side of the page, maybe, you know, front and back, or half the, you know, front and then half the back, depending, or maybe 2 pages. As each code is personal to them, so it comes through at the time. And in Alara, I want for you as well. I've also brought through in this year 2020, because it wasn't able to be received. Like I would do the works behind the scenes, but let's say with individuals ready to receive it, that they've still got to hold an embodiment. Now also another way of numbers, right? The way of numbers before was like a weaving, right? Like a series that it would come. But this new way that the numbers come in is, so if anyone has received numbers from me before, that's beautiful, right? Because you can come back and get a new series and such. But this is even something even newer, right? Because the way the numbers come in, what I would say is like boom, 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 right? And they're all over the place, the numbers. It is not like a weaving of a series. And it's so beautiful. That other client who said it was as if I was lacing it upon the garment, when she received her session, she's like, oh my goodness. She goes, this is as if you think a beautiful garment. And then you come in, she goes, you're putting like pure light, like beautiful little, you know, pearls or sparkles on there. She goes, even say like rivets, which support something, you understand? So the code cannot be broken, you understand? And they couldn't receive like that pure essence of light at that time, but this comes in. So the code, right, as a coder, sometimes other beings have their other agendas to want to break the code and disempower that, but no, that is why the code changes, right? And this addition of the code to come in, like to rivet it and hold it, right, and bring that new 2020 energy that is thirsting to come in for all of you, to be available to you, and this work is going to assist you. So again, the traditional form of numbers, and then this new type of way that comes in as well. And then the last part of it is totally different. It's calls that I have done. So you can, when you purchase that, and Lara lets me know and such, you email me. Everyone emails me also if they got a session, so we can set up the time and the day, and whether Skype or Zoom or phone or what we're going to be doing. So they would receive, after they email me, if they've purchased it, the link for 3 calls, right? So 1 call is in 2 portions. I'm calling that work the welcome room for orientation. And this series is Discord to Harmony. So it is the first call, which was me speaking, delivering codes, light language numbers and such. And the second portion of the call, which was open to say questions or other things that have come up, right? So that call has two portions. It'll be two separate links for that call. And then the other call is something else that I do, which is not connected with the welcome room, and they could listen in to that call and receive the energy through the language I'm speaking, and then again, light language, Akash language, and codes that come through, and also gives them a means of feeling in a community, which is very important, as you know, building your beautiful community to help support them, and a place where they have access to me to question, to share, to banter things around. If they then also say another point, partake of it live, right? So it's another means to bring through the works, so they have access,
Awesome.
Besides the beautiful privates, which allows them to be immersed even deeper on a personal level. Perhaps in a group setting, they may not want to say something or mention something, So the privates gives them also that opportunity to have that privacy, and get in really deep with them, personally.
So yeah, so again, package A is a 60-minute personal session of light language in the language of Akash that Audrey rewrites. It's not a reading of the old Akash, so it's not like she's going to tell you what is in there. It's not reading stories, okay? But it's rewriting the Akash that's there. Package B is everything in package A plus an extra 30 minutes, which you can use for the sacred key code number language for your personal list of numbers. And that's what we were just talking about right now. And then package C was there's a call from the welcome room for orientation, Discord to Harmony, 2 parts, plus a bonus previously recorded live call or class.
Yes, I'm reading a message. Like sometimes I have, automatic messages that I receive. So I think on that one, I'm reading awesome. A message, but they're also receiving the energies, like I said. Yes. So that's another means for them to receive,
Good, perfect. So that's package C is $50, package B is $199, and package A is $150. So please do take a look at those. They're available again at alara.at/show/Audrey1. And people had some questions about the numbers. How often do we read them? How often do we read the numbers? Whenever you want, really, like Audrey said, when you're going through something, when you're feeling stuck, when you're creating something new, just sometimes when you just want to upgrade your energy field, in your space, anytime.
Yeah. There is no right or wrong in this, because remember, creator beings holding those paintbrushes to understand you're the master and the masterpiece, right? Creating that. So you're empowered, right? Nothing to become like a burden, like, oh God, I got to do this chant like 3 times or 6 times. No, you do it 1 time in a sitting, but you could do it as many times a day or a week, right? That you would like to have access to those energies and help support you, right? So there's no right or no wrong with that. The thing I do want to say to them is whatever numbers are put forth on those calls that they might be listening to, right? Or that if they listen to the show again, if I'm going to do some numbers later, there are times when it is to be written, but those times are just them receiving the energy. So it would not work, let's say, if they listen and write the numbers. That's not the same thing. They need to have their own personal codes, which are ones that are written, so
exactly.
That is, I think, for them to understand as well.
Yeah, the numbers that Audrey reads aloud in a call like this are not the ones that we're talking about for the number, for the personal session. That's not it at all. Because she couldn't do that for everybody. It's personal, and it takes
individual coding, their DNA, getting in that technology and in that, what's needed to be released, upgraded and such, what they could handle at a time and not overwhelm them in their field to still be able to function comfortably and such. I think someone was asking, I'm sorry if everyone's mentioning a question, I don't really get to answer it as such, but someone was saying, if you had numbers before, would you do it again? Yes, because there is no way that you can do it all in one time. It would overwhelm your system. Is very powerful. Plus you want to give you time to adjust, right? So when you've adjusted, everyone is on their own speed, a couple weeks, couple of days, couple months, whatever, as you yourself, Lara, knew, as you progress, then you get another series, right? A different series of numbers, which is a different code, a different energy, things that we're working with. And besides that, like I said, this new number work, which is coming in as an attachment to that. Think of a coder who wants to break a code, right? The
Mm-hmm.
other's agenda, who don't like that empowerment, right? So they try to break the code. This is a thing that is coming in with boom, 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 different number series, right? So that coder who wants to break it, right, for the negative, cannot break it, right? Because now you put these other adjustments, right? Anchors, keys in there, codes in there, right? So they couldn't break the code. So always that upgrade, right? So that doesn't happen. And again, to realize our story is huge of ourselves and our soul, right? Maybe one-time number sessions is going to work on your generational lineages of this aspect. Maybe another time the other aspects or your cosmic aspects, you know, the codes for that. Like think of a technology, a computer and such, right? Information, that's what the energies are. Actually, one of my clients said that Tesla showed up to her and said, Audrey's numbers are actually equations, right? I can't give you equations, you know, like they use in quantum physics and everything else, but you are being delivered that through the numbers that you can handle, right? But holding the energy of that.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. And so, you know, each time I get new numbers, it's like an upgrade, you know, so you can definitely get your numbers done again if you've had them before. And I'll be honest, if you've never had your numbers done, then you're not really understanding what we're talking about, because you won't, you know, I always forget to bring my numbers to the call to show everybody. I never remember to do it, but it's pages. It's not like one number, you know, like five digits. No, it's like, I think the last time we did it was 1, 2, 3, I think 3 pages of numbers, you know, like writing, and it took, my hands were tired, you know, that's what I'm saying. My hands were tired.
We take a pause for whoever we need, like who goes to the bathroom, we rest, we talk a little bit. And you know, the great thing, Alara, is that the new way the numbers are coming, since it's like, I want to say the word like shotgun, boom, 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 but it's not negative, it's not shotgun, but that boom, 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 the energy of the numbers are coming. And it's a smaller series, right? Because remember, you're doing attachment to something, right? Another type of a code. So there's 2 styles to do the numbers now. You know, perhaps when someone may come, because we're in the 2020 energy now, maybe they're going to get boom, 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 the shotgun effect. But again, it's 50, 60 numbers, you know, maybe not 250, maybe it'll only be 40, 50, 60, you know what I mean? But it definitely is not 6, 10, and 12. There's no way of that, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Susan's asking, do you repeat the numbers aloud after your session? Yeah, I always repeated them aloud. Like when I would read the numbers, I would read them out loud, because for me, it was like, I wanted to affect my space, and I want source or universe to hear the numbers, because that's what's going to change it. It's not just in my head, you know, it's like, it's, you know, out here everywhere.
Yes, this is the way you use it. But in the circumstance, let's say someone is at work and they want to pull it out at work or something, then of course you do it silently, because people will be like, oh my God, that crazy person over there, what are they doing?
Yeah.
So of course, then you still have the benefit. It's in your field. You're doing it quietly. You're in a library, you know, kids in school, you're waiting for them to come out. You read them, whatever, you know. But yes, also to do it out loud, right? Because that is the way that is wonderful, because you're just, you know, emanating it out. If you cannot do that, maybe a hubby's around or children, then you do it silently, you know.
Yeah, and like you said, you can carry the numbers with you. So if they're on a piece of paper, just keep the piece of paper in your purse, you know, or whatever.
Make a copy. I tell people make a copy, because I don't keep the copies, because then it would be like to the mountain of the stars, you know, all the numbers for so many people. But we go over it. We make sure they receive the series properly before we're done, you know. So and I don't have this tight time clock, if anyone knows me, right? Because I'm from beyond time, so I try to stay within that. But if someone needs a little bit of extra time for whatever may be going on, sometimes they cry, they're emotional, right? Because tears are releasing. It's a good thing, you know. This is not just like, okay, bye, you know. This is us interacting in the new way of being, right? As you see, I'm very accessible, right? We speak loud when we first met as if we know each other forever, right? That is the way of being of the new day. This is not, we speak love, unity, oneness as concepts, and yet we do not know how to walk it in our beingness by being not accessible, right? A place of, everyone wants to sell love and speak about love, and yet where is the love if you cannot access them? You understand? So this is being it in our beingness right now, right?
Yeah.
Now. So that means open, accessible, right? Real.
Exactly. Real. REAL.
Exactly.
So Ian is asking, is the orientation helpful even if we've had a previous session in number codes?
Well, the welcome room is something new that I've devised to put a means for people. What is a welcome room? I said is so beautiful to me. I see it as like an alcove, right? So it's not the entrance is right at the surface of the wall. You're going in an alcove a little bit with a few stairs. So you see this beautiful door, wooden door, and the light is streaming out from it. So it brings your attention, right, to come there. And you walk up a couple of stairs, whether 2, 3, 4, 6, right? Not many, but a few stairs to come. You knock on the door, you open it, and there's this room flooded with light. It is the welcome room, right? Because you're being welcomed here, that you made it your soul for that nourishment, right? Community to be had within that room, you know? So it is a place to discuss wider topics as we are speaking of here. I'm sure a lot of people are not used to hearing this all the time, but these are the concepts that are weaving and creating the new, right? Not going through the pages of the old book of stagnation of the same old, same old. Do you understand? This is to close that book that comes with it, the infringement on one, them not realizing and knowing their power that they have in their sovereignty, and that are moved around by energies and forces, right? Disempowering them and keeping them stuck in the old stagnation. That's the old story we wrote. This is to close that old book, seal it. We have done it so beautifully for love, right? All that we have gone through, the innocence, right? Many who will not come out of this gauntlet, right? Because their soul has been so traumatized, so to say, or so lost in the forgetting that they cannot remember what they truly are, right? So they have to be absorbed back to the old it is so they can truly be healed, right? Because they can't get to that place to stand in their godhood. It would only infect the new, right? With their forgetting. We don't want that anymore. That is why the sealing of the old book and to write in the new book. We have done this very beautifully, right? All that we have gone through to talk about, to understand, to experience what we are as when we are not, right? That which we are. So now we're going to be what we are: love, compassion, empathy, right? All the higher vibrations. That's the writing of the experience in the new book, right? So that's why these works are here. So the welcome room is a place for us to share, talk, share whatever comes up, a message that I might have, some works that I might be doing, right? What do they want to talk about? What do they want to share? First, they'll listen. In the second portions of the welcome room is where I'm open to have more opportunity rather than speak, speak, speak. Questions. What do you want to focus on? What do you want to talk about? What about that concept that you heard? They would write down what they're thinking about, right? So the next time we join, they could talk about that concept, you know? Or if you're not in the welcome room and you're in the regular call, that is, again, whatever is going on, happening, right, is a different title. That is just a monthly thing that I do to share with people, community, and bring through light language. And Akash, what some of my clients will say, oh my goodness, Audrey, you made this call at the perfect time, because I was really, you know, being bowled over by the energies and all that is going on, right? So having this call allowed them to drink from the wellspring, which Spirit calls it, that I bring through, that divine wellspring, which helps them feel like, after that, right? Fortified, strengthened, so they can go continue upon their journey, right? To do the works that they're doing. Because we are here doing our own individual works, but we're here holding a lot of light, right? Transmuters for this system change that is occurring against many forces that do not want to have the change, right? Because that's the only way they know how to express. It's like extinguishing them, right? But it's time for them to be extinguished because their purpose is no longer to be filled, right? They only keep the same old happening, right? So very important what we're doing. That's why sometimes people feel so tired also, because they don't realize in the unconscious, subconscious level, they embody to hold great light for this system of change to be supported, right? While other ones are pulling it there, we're like, no, we're going on the higher timelines, right? All that work of, again, declaring and defining that point, right? To stay held, themselves held, right? At that point of the new future. So it continues to be, right? That place to have different new experiences in, right? In a place of recall and remember what we are, standing in our godhood, and imagine what we're going to create when we created all this from forgetting, in a place of recall what we are with that knowing and knowledge, you know? It's beautiful. Beautiful.
I just wanted to share, Susan, she said, about the hummingbird image that's on your page. She said, I bought a license plate today, just like it. I think it's a sign I'm supposed to work with this lady.
Wonderful. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah, I'm called Hummingbird because, as you see, Spirit just brought it through. I'm so quick, right? And I loved hummingbirds as Audrey. I would collect different statues and pictures and such, you know. And also someone at an expo once when I was just beginning, and they knew I gave them my thing about hummingbird1211gmail.com. They were like, oh my goodness, a hummingbird is a very sacred thing, a powerful thing, you know, in the story of creation. So of course it would be, right, that I would pick that name as the Hummingbird 1211.
Exactly.
You know, Alara, can I bring through the mother? I don't want to forget to do that because I think I mentioned, I don't know if I mentioned in the little thing that I sent you, whether you got to post all that or not, that I was going to bring in the mother. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
The mother is, right, not the mother, father, God, but the mother, father, God is an essence that emanated, not the false ones, right, like the fake gods that eat everyone's energy and all of that, but the true godhood, right, emanates from the mother. The mother is the first point of orientation. Think plasma, right, plasmic, very primordial state of beingness, of energy, right, of consciousness, developing energy, right. So the mother, which birthed forth everything from that point, right. I emanate from that point. So to bring through the works, right. So the mother, I'm going to bring her through. And this is not about what is saying. This is beyond words. Again, words have been contaminated to dumb you down, preconceptions and ideas, which, right, keep you locked up in that. This is just feel it, let it wash over you, through you, support you, right? Like the womb of creation. When you're in the womb, you're drinking it in you, it's around you, right? It's supported in it, right? Just allow those energies beyond words. Because remember, primordial state is beyond words, right? And then at some point there was sound, right? Which was the word they speak of, which is energy. So we're going in ancient, right? In the loop of creation, that primordial point of essence of beingness, right? And in sessions, sometimes I bring her through as well. So here we go, okay? It's going to be a little different because it's slower, right? So here we go, beautiful ones. Just receive. Ashevati umane. I just got to start with this before I bring it in. Ashevane umane vertuvananeri vete sunanane vete vananeri vetu sunane. Ashemahishai shai shai shai. Esse assim, essa ceseia. Okay, now. Isashai. Amahashi. Isamahan. Isha. Imashasoa. Shesia. Mahayasho Mihesa Matue Kantusha Sa Makisa Shaya Sumayasiya Mahia Sumahisha Honse Yasiya Imahana so why? Can't not yawn in that one because that is very high energy, right?
Primordial. Yeah. Did you see me? I mean, I can barely keep my eyes open. Did you see me yawning like crazy?
Yeah. So people, this is real, REAL, right? Really here in multiple ways to help assist them. You know, sometimes even in a session, I know people always want to talk about angels. Who do they think are? They are earth angels, right? Embodied. I will do work that it's like, you know, popping up, you know, their angel wings, dusting them off, right? It'll come through like, you know, holy of holies, you know, with my hands up and then put it here and help them be supported in their earth angel, right? Embodiment and works that they are doing. I cannot pre-say because these are things that often that happen, right? In a session. So this is so many things that are coming through the wellspring to gush upon them, right? And envelop them and live in them, right? To take part of these very, very powerful works. I would not have been levitated and ignited. Again, I did not study with people in physicality or in the realms because this is embodiment of Elohim, creator beingness, to come in ancient beingness, right, doing works with the fields and energy, and then being embodied to support it, right, from the inside out to the fields, to the galaxies, to all of creation, and then to the beautiful ones who come and partake of this, you know. And it is so important. And thank you so much for letting me come here again and talk on
thank you, Audrey.
Should I speak some numbers quick?
Go ahead.
Okay, this is going to be an example, no writing again of these numbers, of the quick way that is the, let's say, a code that may attempt to be broken, right? We're bringing in another code, right? Another method and way to anchor that in, right? So there's no code breaking here, right? So it stays that beautiful, powerful work. So here's a little example of that. It starts with light language and then we move into that. Atu ashana kitayentai, tuta esha hiya tia tia, anamahisha unamahidiri, yanamida hida hida huna hida hida amahiniri. Yiridi paraduta tatianatai, shatubakuta tutayeta. Tibekeshikuta utamakate, shitubetutumai et, aruhana ine hine inamahana. Sign language, see? Ashishama inane katush kata ilamek akai, erivetu kushikakuta itakata, ishamakitai, isiasi, sasi, iseya. Unemuna siose, luna zanu zanaze, zanaze, ishashamai, ishashai, isasiasi. Sasi, Iseya. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14, 16, 18, 21, 3, 10, 12, 13, 14, 16, 18, 21, 108, 108, 10, 12, 13, 14, 16, 18, 21, 908, 908, 908, 9, 5, 10, 12, 13, 14, 16, 18, 21, 10, 12, 13, 14, 16, 18, 21, 308, 308, 308, 908, 908, 6, 10, 12, 13, 14, 16, 18, 21, 21, 21, 3, 10, 12, 13, 14, 16, 18, 21, the kashkakium ashkab untata itatai, isiasi, esasi. 108, 108, 108, 108, 108, and that is Elohim embodiment. So when people are saying this different kind of light language that they have never experienced before, because again, remember, many beautiful people are being united to speak light language, but these are light language that come through every single different, octave, beingness, expression that needs to come through. Right, I have no limitation. It's whatever needs to be accessed at the time to bring forth through, and also with the works I do behind the scenes. And I also want to tell people, I think you beautifully reminded them last time, that when you hear how quickly I'm saying it, that's the way when I'm bringing through the energy. But when you are writing, don't be worried. We go slow and nice so you can, receive the numbers. It's not like that. People sometimes say, how does she think I'm going to copy the numbers?
Yeah, exactly.
When you're doing the writing, it's nice and slow. It's not the quick way of the energy. So do you see, Lara, the little bit of the difference in the energy, the way that is brought through the numbers,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
In that
awesome.
way.
Good. But yeah, when you do the actual numbers in a session, Audrey will say the numbers, you write it down, we confirm the numbers, so that there's nothing missing, so it's all good. But yeah.
It's so funny. Someone was saying something about Tesla. Yeah, I know. I actually do work in the expo where Tesla lived, and I was doing work in like one of the upstairs in the New Life Expo beautiful buildings with all the lights of the city at nighttime, and doing work onto the field, and then the people that were there where Tesla used to live. And it's funny because I had like Tote had come in, because I don't speak with all them, because remember, to me, they're all beingness of the same one beingness of creation, playing through those platforms and names and beingness, but came one time through automatic and said to me, you are a true magician, right? And I'm like, remember, I didn't call on him. He was coming to say, you, meaning me, is a true magician. Now, their word magician would be, as they apply, let's say, to energy worker, right? Was magic, real magic at the time, not the false magic that goes on and deludes people, right? And keeps them trapped. Real magic. So he said, you are a true magician. And he says, because you hold the power of creation in your hands, right? Which is the numbers, right? So he also spoke about numbers and such, right? So this is so powerful. Also, I was doing some work once and I kept saying the word cartouche, 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 right? So I observe my own self because I don't pre-know. I just know what comes through in the moment, right? That's the beauty of eternal moment. And it was like I was saying cartouche, 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 and I was thinking, what is with this cartouche, right? Because for me, I understand, like, Egypt is, I am from ancient times, even before that, right? So it's just a point in a storyline of whatever. But the word cartouche being connected with that, right? Like that oval that is there that has symbols within it. So when you look it up, the ancient meaning of that cartouche is a rope. That's why it's like an oval, the rope with, the lines on the bottom, which would be the tying of the rope, that was used for magic, real magic. So to say, whoever was encircled in that rope, their name within that was as if then they had eternal life confirmed for them, right? So here I am saying cartouche, cartouche, as if this work, this energy puts you encircled, right, in that energy, which they represent like a rope, in that real magic. So you have your name, right, secured. I'm talking about your essence, right, cleared and defined, coloring yourself in so you can be found, right, to continue that eternal life, right, in that new experience, and not be absorbed back to the old that is, losing your gift of individualization, right? But keep your gift of individualization in your eternal life, right? Because you're in resonance with the new story and platform being had. So see, for whoever maybe relates to some of these different, you know, things, it's like, here you go, having confirmation for you to understand that this is real, you know. Can I bring the beings of light in a minute?
Sure.
Okay, beings of light, they sound like me, but they're not me. They are collective. They are part of all that is, and they know they are part of all that is. I just gave them that name as a reference point for us to talk about them, but their real name is just their energy signature stamp, right? It's beyond any words and language limitation. This language is not the language because they speak, right? Let's say through their mind, not the mind, but consciousness together, you know, so they don't have an embodiment. So these words are limiting, but here they go. We're going to come and say hello to all of you, which people can have in a session as well, the opportunity. So here we go. Beautiful one, beautiful one. Yes, 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 Alara, we say to you, thank you, beautiful one, to be with you again. Please give the love. Yes, to your beautiful Neo. Yes, they're supporting you as well, as you know, in all of this that is going forth and being created, dear one. So we thank you for this opportunity for our channel, yes, and ourselves to be with you and your beautiful listeners. We hope they shall have understanding, yes, and come to tend to themselves, of the true treasure of themselves, of their soul, yes, is where their treasure lies, beautiful one. So yes, we shall say, perhaps some can feel us. We always like to say that, yes, because sometimes some can feel us as a change in their environment, yes, and an energy change, beautiful ones, yes, yes. So beautiful Lara, we thank you so much for allowing our channel to say, bring this wellspring through, yes, for so many as they are listening, or to the recording, so to say, to receive what is being brought forth here now. So much knowledge, so much truth, yes, so much empowerment for them, treasures beyond they can even understand, to give an exchange for, yes, and hopefully they shall come to do the exchange as well, yes, because it is to keep things balanced energetically, yes, so they could receive what they are receiving. They cannot even put a price to it, you understand, because it is treasure beyond measure, yes, to assist them in truth of an empowerment, not an old belief or paradigm, you understand, that many wittingly or unwittingly are still feeding to them, you see, but this to be in resonance with the new, yes, wider expansion of understanding of that which they are, and their consciousness expanded, re-educated, beautiful ones. Alara, is there something you would like to say to us before we return it to channel? Because she knows that there are some perhaps that you may have a bit of time. Oh, we do not care for this time. Yes, there is no time, but your invention of time, we must honor it. Yes, so to say, she says perhaps there is some that would like to have questions. Yes, but so we will return you to our channel. But before we do so, beautiful one, is there anything you would like to say to us?
I was just going to say, you know, whenever you come in, you always bring this energy of joy. It always just uplifts me and raises my vibration even more. And I just love your energy. So thank you for being here with us.
Oh, beautiful, and thank you so much. And we want to say to you in our channel, through us says as well, you may have some that will come and they will say, we are bringing this council and this council and this one and the other one, you understand? And then they cannot wait to flock in to hear what those beingness have to say. You see, we do not take front stage, yes, or channel bringing us front stage. You see, we come in later on. We do not do the works that she brings through. We help support it, as you were saying, you understand? We come not to be disempowering them. We come to tell them that they're the master and the masterpiece, one and the same. We shall not hold the paintbrushes for them and paint their picture, yes, that it becomes our creation. So we come, yes, to witness the sessions, the works that are going on. And while we are witnessing, to hold exactly as you were feeling, yes, the joy to make the people, to help the people, make us not a proper word, yes, this is not our language, very limiting to us, so please forgive us. We attempt to do the best we can with it, yes. So we say to help the people, to assist them, to understand and feel as you are feeling, that there is so much more than what they think that there is, yes.
Yes,
beautiful,
absolutely.
one. And so we say thank you that you are feeling and understanding that. Yes, beautiful one. We thank you. We shall be returning to channel, beautiful one.
Thank you.
Okay, now it's me.
Yeah, Neil wants to like do stuff now. He's like,
Well,
enough
you
for
know,
me.
they mentioned him, right? They mentioned him. So to me, it's like he's giving yes, yes, you know what I mean? Like them like petting him, or he's feeling the
Yeah.
energy of them, recognizing him and thanking him for the support with you and the works and things that he does. So he's
Yes.
like, yes, yes, I got that, you know, he's chiming in so proper, you know, no coincidence. That's excellent.
Exactly. No, this was beautiful, and it's beautiful, powerful, so much wisdom that I think people need to hear again and again and again. Because let's face it, a lot of times we do get stuck in our stuff, right? So we need these reminders, absolutely. And I always say, if you haven't gotten your numbers done, get your numbers. And now they're even different, so it's like that'll be interesting. But get your numbers. I have found them to be a wonderful tool for myself. Yeah, I love it. I'm so grateful that I've had the chance to get my numbers done a couple of times for me now. So it's like there are a few times for me now. Anyways, and I think that they are a wonderful tool to change your energy, change your vibration, raise the vibration of your space, and also to help you to create whatever it is you want to create moving forward.
So they're
So
twofold. They're receiving it and having the work done, their DNA, their field, the Akash, you know, all that, unconscious, some kind of generational issue, childhood, you know, all of that. And then besides that, to have a tool, right? Because sometimes you may go with someone for a session, whatever, but you don't have a tool, right,
yeah,
to apply. Like if you can't speak light, you don't have access to numbers, you don't have authority to rewrite the Akash, right? I'm opening the gates of Akash with authority and such. You know what I mean? So it's so much going on here. And then besides receiving all that, that's why beings of light are saying, like, this is priceless. You can't even put a price on it. So priceless, whatever exchange you're doing is nothing near to make the energy balance, right? Because then you're coming away with a tool to use your own selves in your life, in your day in and day out, you know, that is going on. And this work is a fast track, right? Some will say, oh, we have to walk through our shadows still and all of that. And I'm like, oh my goodness, right?
yeah, enough of that. We've done that
How
enough.
many times you've done that? You've done that already. And every time you do it, all you're doing is feeding those forces that we want to maintain and eat off you, right?
Yeah.
So no more of that. That's not necessary. So my work is fast track, right? Pulls thousands, how many, right? Layers and layers and layers in a time, right? So it's a fast track to get so much done, you know, in those time frames and in the works received, you know, than the long drawn out, you know. And again, everything is going so quickly. So to keep, you know, to keep up with that energy, you know, and all that is going on. And like you're saying, yes, you have to hear it over and over again. That is re-education. You understand? We're going against a system that dumbed you down and educated you in things that are false, right? Plus you have the experiment of forgetting that you entered into, right? So we're going against all that, all beliefs and paradigms and habits hard to break or to change. Yeah, that energy is getting you. So that is why to hear it over and over again, just like when someone is being re-educated, right? You have to hear it over and over again, learning a new thing, right? Coming
Yeah.
to know a new thing, right? New knowledge, expanded understandings. That's why the orientation room. So you get your orient, right? So you're oriented, right? Anyone who goes to college or school or a new job, what do? You come in and you get oriented, right? With the new thing. So you could traverse that. So that's why I kind of called it that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Got
one
it.
of my clients, actually, I said the welcome room and they added the word orientation. I'm like, oh my God, that's perfect, you know? So that's what it's about, being oriented to this new way of understanding, wider expands, truth and awareness of what's REAL, right? That was a painted reality and belief system, for one. Do we have any time for any questions?
Well, I know that Tasha has her hand raised.
Beautiful.
So
I want
Tasha,
to
I'm
see
going to go ahead and unmute you.
my Tasha, who's received so many beautiful works with me. Is that you, Tasha?
Go ahead, Tasha.
Can you hear me? Can you can.
Yep. Yep, we can hear you.
I was trying to enter the chat and I couldn't figure out how to do it. So I'm just saying it out loud.
Beautiful Tasha. Thank you.
Hi, Audrey.
Hi, beautiful.
Yeah, hi, Alara. Thank
Hi.
you so much. When I feel in turmoil, I can gain perspective by reading out loud my number codes that I've received from Audrey. They're quite long at this point. It may not work instantly, but within a few hours, without even knowing, I'm in a different place. So I'm so much gratitude to you, Audrey, and all of your work. Thank you.
You see the heart? Can you see? I don't know if you're seeing the
Yes,
video.
I do. My little
That's it,
heart.
heart. So
Thank
beautiful.
you.
Tasha
I'm
is
so
a
glad.
beautiful one who, thank you for calling in and giving a testimony so people can know that it is real, Tasha. And Tasha has been through many journeys and many things that she experienced and walked in her life. And so I feel so honored to be working with her and that she's come here and she recognizes in this the quality of what is true and real and is trying to, from her heart, attempt to also help others to move to this. So I appreciate that, Tasha, so much. And thank you.
Oh, you are such a blessing. Thank you. I'm going to try and unmute myself now.
I can do it, no worries. But thank you, Tasha. So yeah, you know, it's I will go ahead and mute Tasha. There we go. So yeah, it's not just me who has, you know, received numbers and used them. Yeah. So you know, I'm glad Tasha was able to stay on and share. Does anybody else have any question that they'd like to ask Audrey before we go today? We have a few more minutes. We can take a few more questions. You can either raise your hand or type in the chat. Oh, good. Thank you, April. I'm glad you were able to experience it. Good, good, good. Thank you, Melissa. An uplifting time today. Awesome. Good.
I was glancing a little bit because remember I'm working and trying to talk and bringing in energy and all this. So I would glance every now and then and I'm sorry for who we didn't get to answer, but so many people saying they were feeling it and thanking us and thanking me. So that is so beautiful, you know.
So Susan has her hand raised. Susan, I'll go ahead and unmute you. 1 second. Hello.
Hello. Hi, ladies.
Hi.
Hi, my question is, what is your take on 2020 for evolutionary advancement for the planet?
Oh my goodness, this whole process is part of the evolutionary, you know. Part of my work says when we were in 2017, right, 7, 8, 9, 10, when you add that up, 2017 was the beginning of a 13-year span, right, from 2017, which was year 1, 2018 year 2, right, when you did 2019 year 3, 2020 year 4, as you go on to 2029, the 13 year. And my work was saying, use that time, people, right, to avail yourself to these opportunities, right, because this is not just you know, being able to be in resonance in one way. You also have to disengage from those old energies and the old belief and paradigms, right?
Right.
Clean the closet out, so to say, right, of those old beliefs and energies and ties that bind and generational things and all of this, right? So 2020 to me is another year in that process, right? And each year as we're going higher and higher to be able to take in, see like the numbers that came in now, right? In another kind of way that my client said it was beautiful, another addition to the works that are there now, right? So before we couldn't receive that, right? Because the physical embodiment wasn't able to, but in 2020 it can, right? And as it goes longer and longer, that process to receive more and more of what's happening in the field, supporting that and helping the people to be able to take that in and absorb that. Because again, all of this process is part of, again, for that closing up of the old book and evolution. Evolution is to understand creation's consciousness, right? Through its exploration of itself, went through a journey through us, right? And all the multiple stories in the lower vibration, duality, polarity experiment experience, right? So it is so difficult to close that where it shouldn't have been that difficult. But those other forces that live in the lower vibrations want to maintain it to keep going. They are devolution. They are stagnant systems of replicate, duplicate, right? Non-self-sustaining systems that have infringed upon the others, right? Keeping their truth and divinity from them. So this is about true evolution, so that those paths, this is the time of the great divide, my work says. There's no more fence sitting. There's two sides. Your works tell your essence of your genius where you shall find yourself. The devolutionary one, right? Parasitic, vampiric, non-self-sustaining, right? Replicate, duplicate, right? To be close that out. It has nothing else to give creation. It's been happening over and over, which is a stagnation, a contradiction to life. This way, evolution, which is what, right? Real creation, right? R-E-A-L, what's real. Self-sustaining systems, right? Evolutionary. Us standing back in our godhood, remembering what we are when we first entered this, with the wider knowing even of what we are. That wider knowing from walking through this and writing it in the book of life entails us evolving consciousness, ourself, creation, right? From the point that we were, even knowing more, to, we say new, but it's the old with it expanded to a new version of even itself. That is evolution. We're talking about evolution on a creation level, God, source, creation, the field of consciousness, continue expansion, right? We term it evolution, which has the word love in it, right? The motion of love forward in its experience and expression of itself. 2020, clear sight, to assist them to clear sight, have an opportunity for clear sight. Not the wool has been pulled over your eyes, right? In delusion, falsehoods, the REEL that was made to hold people, right? Not only in this life, but other lives and aspects. This is not just about humanity and Gaia. This is rippling out through all of creation, because what is the point? You fix it in Gaia and humanity. And I always say, what are you people thinking? You're going to clean up a neighborhood or a park, and then meanwhile it's still happening in the other neighborhoods or the rest of, you know, of the area of the park? It doesn't make sense. Then the same thing will happen again, right? How many times in creation have the soul eaters, so to say, parasitically ridden expressions of forgetting, come forth and blown up a whole world and shattered the souls, right? So this is to ripple throughout the whole body of creation, the things that are going on now, you know? So that is why we say evolution, but that means an expansion of the field of consciousness out of this that was story, to write a new story from a place of remembrance and recall, right? Creation recalling itself, remember, join back to itself, you know?
When planet Earth evolves, then that ripples out throughout the cosmos, and everybody else has a bump as well. Is that correct?
Exactly.
That's exciting. I am so excited. I'm going to sign up to work with you after we get off the call. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for the question. Lovely meeting you. I look forward to it.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Susan. All right, so there's a question from, or request from Susan and Melissa, if you could do a blessing or something for Melissa and Susanna, sorry, for something physical.
Physical,
So
okay, great.
they're both going through something physical, so if you could do something, that'd be awesome.
Yes. Yes, because again, remember the energies that we've had many lives, right? Many aspects of self. So that energy got entwined, right? In the DNA, or generationally ties that bind, passed on through generations and DNA and such. And the energy ripples out into, let's say, the physical ailments and issues and things that are going on, right? Again, part of the old story where we experience eternal beings, right? Death and disease and sadness and all of that. We were supposed to walk through it, but never be stuck in it, right? Life upon life upon life, right? Because it's giving no one nothing, but through their pain and sadness, feeding those other forces, right? So we don't want to do that anymore. So I'm going to do something that assists them on the level of DNA, and I would hope as well that they could partake of one of those packages there, because whatever I'm going to do now is like in general type of thing, of course, powerful energy, but imagine if they come, right? Tasha herself, beautiful Tasha, has things that are going on, right? So to assist people, right, with that, you hear Tasha seeing a difference, right? So if they come in, it gets deeper into that DNA, into that situation, to release those loops of those things and the energy that rippled out into the physicality, right? So personally, to handle that for them, I hope they'll be able to come and partake, because it's important, right? And so they're helping them in this embodiment, which is important, but then ripple also out to their soul beingness, so they no longer in any other embodiment continue to have such an experience, right? Feeding their energy to other forces that are holding them, right? So we want to free them on a multiple of levels, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I hope they will partake. So here we go for them, and it also will ripple out to everyone out there. When I do group work, that's the beauty of it. When they hear the calls, whatever may be happening for one person, it ripples out to whatever way anyone else might be able to receive the benefits of it. So don't think it's just for them too. It is for anyone else in the way that they can also receive it, right? So here we go. Blessings be. Kerter tu venanonei, vertu sonatiane, vertu sonatiane, copertane viseiane, bartu canusanone di berture, beture, vanusanu venatoiane, verusson tantire, venosano zenaze, venezenaze, Shemene kasha, kukukuye me kash. Vattu me rentur surtere rir me kash. Vatture merdere kash. Tettu sunderi verdatare. Vattume, the things they bear on the shoulders, your shoulder blades. Washamate. Vashamate, ancient ones help release that. Kondoso konde husahandu komako sondiane. Bahunamase. Bahunamase. Sha. Hondu kosunde. Vattumare. Verterane vennone. Battu sono vennone. Besetione. Kashme. Hua. Et voilà. Sha. Shemaratur le meler. E se non scerre tu rerire. Per te passeranno neri. Berture. Une mertu non anei. Per un son sensi nanei. Per un pertu son anei. Per ti anei. Shem ya hana ina hana. Una mahana hani inihini. Cartune kasha kakion. E kasha makakion. Arriverre tusk arte le nella. Shari. Sha. Kali wants to come in now. Kali supports the destruction of the old and the things that want to hold one down, right? To break that up so they can move to the new. So here we go. Kali on a neum, 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 woman, Kalimakasha uta aida uta toto incantanta incantata incantaya makalimakasha emosher celebalula makash actum actium esi así es así ese celebaton lenema verdevat Fairies come and make that a little bit gentle, right? And around the heart. Ashana kanuna parterum vasi mache le pon barutariane. Esse así. Esse así. Esse así.
Awesome. Thank you. I got like chills and tingles all over when Kali came in. Not surprising.
Yeah. This is so powerful, and to help them to be assisted by this powerful work that is coming through. People want to say, if you tell them, we're going to bring the Elohim in, we're going to bring this one, you know what I mean? It's like, hello, I came embodiment. I should have stayed out there. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm embodiment, right? Because we're doing inside out here to help you recall and remember, right? That which you are. You have access to that personally. You know what I mean? Take advantage of it. It's not, by coincidence. And like I said, all brought through because this is my beingness as an ancient beingness to come here now for love, to assist and do the things, right? Seed the things and support it. Like we're talking 2020. Okay, these works are being done even in the field, right? Before the other years in our counting of time even occur, because we're changing and supporting the energetic fields, right? The paths of potentiality, the timelines, right? And then to have one who does those works from here, where I am, without traveling, and then you could have access to receive the works that come through personally for one in a session is huge, right? And so beyond the price of whatever exchange is happening for the energy. So I think they will. Yeah, Neo, see Neo, he's like, yes, right? He's like, yes, listen to her. Confirmation from Neo there. And
Awesome.
the puppies know, you know what I mean? They know truth and they know it's what. So exactly. I love the timing of his barks. Like so perfect of when he spoke up, right? They're supporting, but he's like, yes, highlight, yes, or yes, I know they're talking about me. I love him. He's so beautiful.
I love it. Yeah. So he's so cute. Right on time. Right on. Like, he's like, Mommy, hurry up, finish. All right. So I think we're good. I don't see any more questions. So hopefully Susanna and Melissa, you're doing good. That was, yeah, looks like it. Awesome. Yeah, I'm yawning. And Susanna says, I'm just that I want to jump up and dance and listen. Yeah, but
yeah,
I'm,
this is ancient, right? They don't have to travel somewhere. They're not buying a ticket, get on a plane, go to a hotel, being part of anything with whatever energies can be happening there, right? This is here personally, right? For them receiving and then personal in a session, that they don't have to do all those other things any longer.
Exactly.
It's like them in, let's say, ancient times coming to listen to the singing in a sacred temple, right? Or one that went to bring this forth for them, right? But in these times, to assist them to recall, they, right, stand in their Godhead to access that. That's the most important thing, right? So they are found, right, creating their new future point to be confirmed, to be drawn in, so they are there declaring and defining who they are, and this work helps them with that. So they don't go down the future points that didn't play out well, and they jump the timelines to be in resonance with the new future, right? Because that's where we change it, not from there, but from here. That's what this embodiment is giving them the opportunity to, not the things that want to distract them with the same old that they have done life and aspect upon aspect, missing this great priceless opportunity, which is about these things that we're speaking of.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So for those of you who, have just been experiencing Audrey's light language of the Akash, the beings of light, Kali coming in, like so much, please, please, please drink some water, drink some water, drink some water. And again, take a look at the special offer page that's available at alara.at/show/Audrey1. There are 3 packages. See which one resonates with you, but I would definitely, because I've done the numbers myself, I would get that if you can. If not, do the other 2, it's fine. But oh my goodness, that's awesome. So Betty, I have to share, I'm sorry. She said, I started spontaneously singing a bit with Audrey and some light language came out of my being. That was the first. Awesome.
Oh my God, I want to tell you, that's another thing. Thank you, Betty, because I wanted to tell people that through receiving these works, their gifts and abilities can be enhanced or come online. You know how many people, I had a person who actually went on shows once, right? And they didn't tell the people that I ignited them. And the host said, well, how are you doing this? And she's like, well, actually, I went to the expo and I saw Audrey Lightlanguage there and she ignited me. And I'm like, wow, it would have been nice if she shares that with everyone. So you see what happens? I have many of my clients who have, you cannot pre-say, because what happens is people want to say out there, I'm going to teach you light language. That is not proper assigned to it. It is not a teaching like a language. It is you release the things that need to be released energetically, and you take in the upgrades, so you were brought to a point of energy resonance, so it can be ignited within you, or have the possibility of being ignited within one, Yeah. And you can speak light language, but then there's also other octaves, right, to reach higher and higher of what you can bring forth. So thank her so much. By no coincidence, Spirit wants to know, so people can understand that they can also perhaps have this opportunity. So I'm so glad that happened for her. And if she comes for sessions, she'll be able to bring that forth more fluently and even reach higher and higher. See how I speak so many? Because for me, the work that I do, it's all open, right? I have full access, right, for who's needed. But sometimes people, you'll hear the same over and over, or a certain sound or a frequency. So this can even expand it for her. So I'm so excited for her. That's wonderful.
I know, that was a surprise, Betty. So yay, I love it. Thank you for sharing.
I want to say, see in my shirt, shine bright, right? And my sparkles. So here we go, shining brightly. So
exactly, wonderful. Shine bright. Absolutely, I love it. Yes, I know you will. You'll definitely do it, Betty. I have no doubt. Good. All right, everyone. So this was a fun, like packed call, fun packed show. I don't even know anymore. There's a lot of information, lots of wisdom. I know Yelena had asked a question, which actually was answered before during the call. So please go back and listen to it. Because there was so much information, so much wisdom, so much energy. Can't even tell you. So go back. Yeah, it'll be, the recording will be out a little bit later today, but it'll be out later. But please do go back, listen, go back and watch. And then, if you resonate with it, I definitely recommend you getting a session with Audrey. So just really quickly, Audrey, I know what you're going to say. You're going to say everybody, but who should get a session with you?
See how you're saying if it resonates with them. Let me tell you something. If it doesn't resonate with them, they should come anyway. You know why? Because that could be the old beliefs and paradigms, the old foundation, right? The old belief systems, right? When you build something, you can't just stir in the same old foundation, the foundation. You got to build from there. This is going to help them build from there, right? Access the wider understanding, right? I'm not just talking off the top of my head, right? These are truths to come in to empower them so they can partake of, right, at their soul level through a soul architect. So if it's not in resonance, perhaps there is something that needs to be shifted in them, a filter that is pulled from them, right? Shattering the filter, shattering the old beliefs and paradigms, shattering, right, the mind in that labyrinth, right? So come and explore it, for gracious sakes, and see what it has there to offer you, because maybe there could be, as I said, the false awakening or other things that are keeping you in a resonance that want to keep you trapped, and you think you've arrived somewhere, but perhaps you have truly not, right? So explore it, see what it's going to bring for you, because it could crack those things up. Maybe some people have parasitic plague, right, or generational ties, old agreements that are keeping them, that they can't see this. That would be in resonance, that they can't be open to receive this bounty of divinity that is coming through, the wow of my work, that people around the world go wow, because there's nothing else words to say that they can find to describe it all, right? Like so much packed here. So for everyone, right, who would not drink from a wellspring? You're on a journey, you're tired, you're downtrodden, right? All this is going on, or you think you've made it somewhere, but you're actually, my work says also, tell them they understand, what is it, when you have like the virtual reality now, right? They're selling, making money on it, right?
Yeah.
So my work says you are in a virtual reality doing virtual reality, right? So this is a point to truly empower them, right? So who doesn't want to, upon a journey, come and drink, right, from a refreshing, nourishing, help them be fortified to continue on that journey, right? Wellspring of divinity that is coming through and have access for them, right? So they drink whether they're in resonance or not, right? So it can bring them a different perspective and a different experience, right? Because what am I speaking about? Power, truth, right? What's real, REAL, right? Standing in your godhood, your soul being freed of the old story, the matrix, the program, whatever you want to say, right? We're talking about things not just from human perspective, but when people die, they die and they come back to life, right? In like a near-death experience, and they're like, oh my God, I was part of everything and everything, right? That to them is very overwhelming because they're part of all that is. There's the proof. You're part of all that is, having an individual experience. So you can experience things and be overwhelmed with all that is. The gift of that. What is your gift of that? Just to be eaten up by parasitic plague and old beliefs and paradigms, right? And things that have not been able to free you from that, right? You want to give other things outside of you, says great glory and such, right? But have they freed you from life upon life of the same old heartache, sickness, and illness? Have they stopped an abomination or atrocity from happening that goes on upon this world throughout the body of creation? No, they have not had the power to. You know why? Because they are part of a technology. You understand? So it is time for one that could stand outside of all that and truly empower themselves. Yes, that's what this work is about. That's why it sounds different. So whether it's in resonance or not, it would be wise of them to partake, right? So they can see what is there for them that perhaps they don't even know, that can crack up those things that are holding them bound, that they may not even realize that they are bound, stuck in the same old in loops, you know?
Yeah, there you go. If it resonates with you, and if it doesn't, take a look at it,
Exactly. Have the experience, beautiful ones. That's what we're here, and that's what we're doing through creation, the experiences. And you may get a great surprise, which I'm sure that you will.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Audrey. Thank you, everybody, for your wonderful questions. Thank you for being with us. I know it's been like 2 hours, so thank you for being with us and being present and receiving from Audrey and all the beautiful energies from this call. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm so glad to be back doing our live shows again after 2 weeks break, but feels like forever. But I'm so glad to be back with all of you again. So thank you. And yeah, wow. Whew. I know, like we always say wow after our calls, Audrey?
Yes, this is come get you wow, people. It's not pretend. it's real coming throughout.
I love
It's
it.
so beyond words, you know.
So,
Words
yeah.
are limitations. This is so expanded, you know, so expanded that my work says takes it to the place beyond words, because words can do that place no justice, you see. So it is so full and so heart, right? So real, so soul nourishing, your true essence of your beingness. So please tend to your essence, because that is where you shall be found as you travel through creation, and will ripple into your physical expression here and now.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day, the rest of your day. And thank you again, Audrey, so much. I just love having you on our show. Love talking with you. Always a wonderful time, you know, and I know we're going to talk again after, but thank you, thank you, thank you. Such a blessing. I love you. So thank you, everyone. Until next time, may you continue to be blessed with an abundance of joy, peace, love, happiness, prosperity, and radiant health. Sending you all much love and blessings always. Bye for now.